Berard. I'm a proud mom. My daughter is already 25. She's a professional soccer player. And my son is 20. He's in the Navy. He's an engineer. So I'm really glad to be able to talk to them because they're far, so I miss them. So I like to do that program to really help the new mom with all my experience and the experience on all my guests. Since 2005, I've been doing, I'm a provider for the state of Florida, so I teach other massage therapists and I create a program for infant massage and pregnancy massage. So that's my expertise. Now with the pandemic, I start doing virtual baby massage so we can reach people from all over the planet. So I really like that. A part of my mission is to stimulate the parent-child bonding to empower relationship and build a stronger family. It's always about strong family. Last month's speaker was Anya Weinberg. She's awesome. She owned the Thrive from Home business. So for everybody that, there's a lot of people that work home now or, you stay at home with your kids and sometimes you're tired, your energy is low and you don't realize that everything in your house, like from the air you breathe, the water you drink, the importance of hydrations, um, all this is important. Oh, let me stop that. Perfect. No more ding ding. Sorry about that. So you want to have something clean in your house from the hair to the water, and Anya is the person for that. So if you want to know a little bit more about that, just scroll up or down. I'm not too sure, but just go down under my other Facebook Live, and you'll see Anya. And if you don't find it, you just can put a comment on the Facebook, and you'll see there. Let your information and I can send you the link and you can have the Facebook Live with her. Today I'm with Dr. Cologne. She's an MD. She's a pediatric specialist in Cold Spring, Florida. She has 34 years of experience in the medical field. She graduated from New York State University School of Medicine and from Buffalo Medical School in 1987. She did her residency in Albert Einstein College of Medicine at Jacobi Medical Center Pediatric in 87 and 90. She has a medical license from New York State and from Florida. She had awarded a couple of years in a row of the Compassionate Doctor recognition. So the Compassionate Doctor certification is granted to physicians who treat their patient with utmost kindness. So she is, oh, she is right here. Okay, so we were having difficulties, but I see her, she's there, she's trying to join us. So, hello. Okay. Let me. Awesome, you're there. I'm so happy. I was ready to have my phone. So, yay. Exciting. So she's here. Let me put her on so I can. I was just telling you about, telling everybody about your experience, the school, your license, and you had the compassionate doctor recognition a couple of years in a row. I saw that. Yeah, you didn't know. You had it 2 years in a row. So it's it's for the physician that treat their patient with the utmost kindness, and you won that. So congratulations. Okay, let me see. I'll put you up here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ah,
Hey,
okay.
there you are.
All right.
Okay, so yay! I'm glad to have Dr. Cologne. She had emergency. We thought that we're gonna do it on the phone, but
Yeah, it happened. Thanks to my husband. Yes, yes. Well, he was able to make it happen. So thank you for that. Yeah.
oh, cool, cool. Thank you, husband.
Yeah.
She's the kid, so you're lucky. Like it's so hard sometimes with the technology change so quickly that we have to
Yeah.
work on it all the time.
Yeah.
I was Dr. Cologne a long time ago. My son is 20 now, so it was
Yeah.
his first checkup. Um, I was connected with another doctor that had an emergency, and then Dr. Cologne showed up, and it was like we just started about baby massage, and yeah,
It's been that long. Wow.
yeah, 20
Nice to stay
years.
connected with you. You're amazing. I love your commitment to what you do. I love what you provide for families. And it's not just what you provide, but how you empower parents to have skills to keep their children, their babies healthy. So or their children healthy. And I love how I see you as like from cradle to whatever the other side is, because you've also done massage for my husband when he's had health issues,
Mhm.
and then to recently find out that you're doing a specialty with preemies. That's,
Yes.
yeah,
I
very nice.
It's been working really good, and to do it online too because of the COVID, we have to find a way. And then I was like, you know what? I'm most of the time I even don't touch the baby. It's really about me doing on the doll, and the parents do it on their baby. So doing it
Yes,
online because I can put the camera, they see what I'm doing, I can see what they're doing with the camera, and it's been helping a lot.
that's wonderful. That's one. Yeah, yeah. Especially for first time parents, I think any opportunity that gives them the chance to grow in confidence, right? So
Yes.
you're giving them a skill that they can see that is for their baby's well-being. It's a beautiful thing. It's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, then it's really about that because often they want me to do it, and I'm like, you know what? You really can do it. It's not me. You're gonna see your baby. You can do it every day, and like you say, to give them the confidence.
Yeah. Very nice. Wonderful. Yeah.
So I had some of my people that asking a lot about the food, and what they should eat, and about the probiotic. That was like really a big question about if the newborn need the probiotic and which one. You know, when I said that you were holistic MD, they were all excited because they want to know
Mm,
what's the best, or if they really need it, or what's your
yeah.
take on that?
Well, first of all, that question about food. Did you want to? Shall we start there? Yeah. Because for me,
Thank you so much. Yeah.
yeah, for me, that's like number one. Like my thing, I've come to appreciate over the last. I've been doing this 30 years, and I've come to really appreciate how food is so important. It's our number one medicine.
Hmm.
It could be our number one poison,
Yeah.
if we're not aware. But it's something that's like in our hands to be able to make a difference in our in our family's life, not just our
Hmm.
family. And so that question of food uh, for me is a crucial one. So first, it's encouraging breastfeeding, right? Because
Yes.
that's there, as we all know, so many benefits to that. And every now and then, that we'll have a family or a mom who, let's say, can't breastfeed 100%, but I just encourage them to. Every little bit counts. And if you,
Yeah, I would like to reach more
what's that?
doctor. I would like to reach more doctor about that because often the parents that I see that are not breastfeeding because the baby had problem with the neck, and something that we can work on with the massage, and you can do the breastfeeding instead of just like, oh, the baby cannot, and then no, okay, take a bottle.
Right, right, right. You know, I always do a little bit of balancing act because obviously every family is different, but
Yeah.
I try to get a feel for, does mommy, you know, if mommy really wants to do this, then I try to tell her, look, do what you can, breastfeed first, and then if you have to supplement, like after every feed, fine. The
Mm.
baby's going to get benefit from that little bit of breast milk that they get initially. And you know, when you relax about it, then interesting that then your own body starts to produce more simply because you're not getting anxious, right? When you get anxious, then your supply goes down. But
Mm-hmm.
when you sort of say, you know what, this little bit helps, we're going to do that with every feed. We're going to breastfeed first, and then we're going to supplement. That's huge. And then what winds up happening, one or two things. Either they'll continue to breastfeed partially with supplementing, you know, for a year.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, 100% breastfeeding becomes possible simply because moms relax and gave themselves the opportunity to, you know, to just be okay with, okay, this is where we're at now.
Yes.
Let's see. Anyway, so so breastfeeding number one. Then the next thing is I try to plant a seed at 4 months, between 4 to 6 months, because the American Academy of Pediatrics has gone back and forth when to first introduce foods. You know, there've been some years where they say 4 months, some years where they say 6 months.
Yeah.
I'd say just somewhere between 4 to 6 months. And the idea is that introducing foods at that time gives the baby an opportunity to get that iron that starts to go down. In other words, in utero, when baby's in the belly, they have gotten a certain amount of iron from mom.
Okay.
Iron supply is great up until somewhere between 4 to 6 months. And then they need to, I guess you could say, complement that iron that's going down. They
Mm-hmm.
complement it with foods that are high in iron. Okay.
That's good information.
Yeah. So that's one thing. So then what I say is that time when you're starting to think about introducing foods, wonderful opportunity to train the taste buds, right? Because I think culturally, many of us who live here in the United States are used to giving, let's say, rice cereal or oatmeal as a first food, which recently we've come to see that grains are not necessarily the best initially. And as a pediatrician, I know that there's this time somewhere in the toddler 4 or 5, when they're 4, 5, 6 years of age, they don't want their veggies. So in my mind, I'm thinking, why don't we train not just the baby's taste buds, but us as a family? Think veggies first. You know, why do veggies only have to be for dinner? How's about we have it for breakfast? You know, how's about veggies as a first food? So I always say, I literally will tell my parents, veggies, fruits, grains, like in those portions. Like if we start thinking about this for our children and then we start doing it for our family, we're way ahead of the game.
Yeah, the veggies, the portion.
So the portions, yeah. So vegetables, the greatest amount. Then fruits, because we're good with the fruits. Why? Because we're sweet tooth. You know, But so veggies, then fruit, and then grains like rice and oatmeal, the least. So unfortunately, the way our culture is, we're top heavy when it comes to the foods that come from the grains, the pasta, the rice, the breads, and then we wind up having a lot of issues. So recently has been, why don't we start off on the right foot? thinking more about all those beautiful vegetables and just making it a part of our snacks, our breakfast, for sure for our lunch and dinner, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Incorporate that early on. It just becomes a habit. So anyway, so that's one of the things I've been encouraging my families to do. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds good. I wanted to go back to because you were talking about the breastfeeding. I had a lot of mom that pump and then put it in a bottle.
Yep.
Which kind of bottle? Because I had well, one of the patients, and that's cool too, because they're in Canada, but they were having problem with fibromatosis coli. So the neck, they have like a tumor here, but it's not a tumor.
Okay.
It goes away. But
yeah, it's probably like it's a hematoma. So sometimes
yes,
the birthing, they get a little bit of blood collection in the muscle here, and that the torticollis. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they check and it was another tumor, so everything was okay, so we can do the massage. But she was doing with the bottle, the breastfeeding, like pumping.
Yeah.
Because the baby with the problem with the neck, from the beginning.
Latch was having issues. Uh-huh.
But then she was telling me that he sleep pretty good too. But then you wake up and he's like really hungry and like go crazy and vomit because it's like, I guess, too much. So I was thinking maybe the bottle change, or do you have any other idea about?
Well, I mean, a couple of things. So first of all, we have to appreciate that sometimes towards the end of the day, our own milk supply goes down. And so towards the end of the day, we may need to supplement, okay? And so then in that case, it could be supplementing with milk that you've been able to pump during the day, or it may be formula. It may be formula. And there's, of course, we have many choices when it comes to formula. And then, and then when it comes to bottles, because shape of the mouth varies, right? So are we talking about a preemie? Or are we talking about, a full term? So the flow
now is 1 month old, yes.
So one is the shape is going to determine which shape of the nipple is best for that baby. So just know you may have to play a little bit with the shape of the nipple. Is it longer? Is it wider? Is it flatter? Is it soft? So just know, don't get frustrated. Just expect it, because again, all the variation with the how big the tongue is, how the child moves the tongue, all of that. Okay, so don't get frustrated. Sort of expect it and go with that. The other is that a preemie versus a full-term baby, the flow also changes, right? So then you have a baby who has a very strong suck, and so then they need something that doesn't choke them because they're so strong that then all of a sudden all this milk comes all of a sudden. Or the opposite, you have let's say a preemie whose suck isn't as strong, so they need a different kind of flow. So just know that these are the shape and the flow are two things that you're going to have to play with. And on top of that, because of the difference in how they may suck, you may find that a bottle that supposedly decreases the how much air is swallowed. Like I think it's Dr. Brown's. I have a lot of my families who use Dr. Brown's, because supposedly something about that decreases how much air they swallow. So you have all those variations. I guess the bottom line is what I'm trying to say is don't get too frustrated. Almost expect that it's a learning curve. It's a learning curve to find out like what works best for your baby.
Okay.
And if you're supplementing with your breast milk, then know that another I guess variable is what you eat. So pay attention to what you eat. And I have to say, dairy avoiding dairy is a big one because so many babies just, I guess their digestive system is not mature enough to handle dairy, as an example. And
Yes.
so your diet also plays a little part in how they handle the milk. If you're breastfeeding, if you're pumping and using a
Yes.
bottle. Mhm.
What about like, because I don't know, for me it was like broccoli and onion. I guess everybody's different, right? You have to
Yeah.
see how the baby
And
reacts.
this is why, yes, good point, Marie. Something about journaling, because, with baby brain, you can barely remember what you did 2 minutes ago, right? So whatever you eat, just write it down. And so when you all of a sudden you see your baby a little bit more fussy than you're used to, you go back and say, it's the broccoli, it's the onion, or it's the dairy. Everybody's going to be a little bit different, but if you just write down what you've eaten, then it'll give you a better clue. It'll give you a better clue what it is that you need to modify. Mm-hmm.
Going back to the probiotic, do you have any one that you recommend?
So if yes, so probiotics is an excellent. So let me just say, giving a supplement of probiotics is a very smart move, simply because when you give your child that good bacteria, you're giving them that little extra advantage to build their immune system. Again, digestive system, this is a big part of our immune system. So good bacteria in the gut, good immune system. So that's a good rule of thumb.
Mm-hmm.
Which probiotic? So I have to say, C-section babies, let's keep in mind, in particular, for sure from the get-go, need their probiotics. And there's one called Gerber Everyday, specifically made for babies who have, babies birthed through C-section.
Okay.
But my experience is that one probiotic may be better for one baby versus the other. But keep in mind avoiding dairy. So there are some probiotics that are dairy-based, in which most babies or many babies are very sensitive to dairy. Try to make sure that you're doing a probiotic that does not have a dairy base, that does not have dairy. I find that makes a difference. Now, I don't go by brand per se. Pay attention to, let's say, there's Culturelle, there's BioGaia. So there's different brands. And I think the important thing is to look at not the brand, but what are the bacteria there. Okay. So there might be, let's say, 4 or 5 different bacteria in one particular brand. And if you notice that your baby is actually getting more digestive issues, more gassy, more fussy, okay, so look at the bacteria, switch it to a brand that has a different group of bacteria, or maybe just one, like the Gerber Everyday or the Gerber Soothe. Okay. So maybe initially might be better to just keep it simple.
Okay. And when did they start?
So C-section babies from the beginning, from the get-go.
Okay.
They didn't get the benefit of getting the bacteria going through the birth canal. Yeah. And usually by the time mommies come back with the babies, or the parents come back by week 2 or 5, I'm already mentioning that. And I guess the only reason I don't mention it initially is there's so much going on. But by week 2 or 4, I'm encouraging the probiotics, for sure, the vitamin D. If they're
that was the other.
Yeah, strong bones, good immune system, very important. Yeah.
What about the vitamin K injection? What's your take on that? Some parents,
You know what? I have to say, I don't have an issue with the vitamin K. I know some families who tend to be more purist to do the oral vitamin K, which the studies show that as long as you're doing, I mean, there's different ways of doing oral vitamin K, but as long as you're following the protocol for the particular concentration that you're using. So, for example, I usually recommend parents get the if they are going to do the oral vitamin K, I recommend that they get the one where it's like 500 units per drop, so that they can wind up giving at least 200 grams, which is 4 drops. Right. So in other words, 2 grams in the first 24 hours, then another 2 grams in a week, and then another 2 grams a month from that. And the studies have shown those 3 doses, if done, are as effective as doing the injected. Now, I'm not saying do one versus the other. I'm just saying that for those parents who really, for whatever reason, they prefer not to do the injected, then at least it gives you peace of mind to know, okay, so if I do the oral, I protect them from the because every now and then you have a baby who doesn't have enough vitamin K and they can get bleeding issues for the brain, large organs, you know, and that could be life-threatening.
Yeah.
Please consider doing one or the other, but know that if you do the oral, you know, those 3 doses, according to the studies, are just as effective as doing the injected.
Okay, good to know. Other question was about the heavy metal in the baby's food. So I guess I would suggest the parents to, but the one that work, I guess they need to buy the food, or what's wrong with that?
Yeah, that you know, yeah. So, you know, here we are trying to do the best for our children, right? And we're willing to pay the extra, right, to give them what, you know, we consider the best, because we don't want, you know, these chemicals or additives in their foods. And then it's difficult, you know, to hear that then, you know, things flew under the radar and they wind up having contaminants. So, so that's it's discouraging. I have to say, though, I guess maybe to a certain extent, not surprising, because when things are mass produced, sometimes those things, there's always the potential for that to happen, unfortunately. But you know what? So what I heard recently, somebody say, don't let a good crisis go to waste. So in other words, you know, this piece of news,
yes,
for us to get back to, you know what? Why not make my own food? Buy my organic vegetables. Baby bullet, if you wanted the extra convenience of a baby bullet, which is like a Vitamix, but in smaller amounts, right? So buy my organic veggies, have my baby bullet, or just steam my veggies, let's say, for maybe a week. And then I've learned, so my kids are now 20 and 21, but what I used to do when they were little is I would make a big enough batch, put them in ice cubes, you know, and so that way I would only have to do it once for the week.
Yeah, the same thing.
Little ice cubes, and you know, and so I had my little portions, and so it was easy, you know, it was easy, and I had peace of mind that I was giving them something that was not immediately fresh, but not processed. So
correct.
Things that came from a jar, or I mean, at that time we didn't have the pouches, but things that came from a jar was just more something like a plan B or C. But most of the time at home, I had my already made foods. So okay. So the convenience may not be there, you know, given that concern that you brought up. But to know that we have a lot of conveniences to make foods at home. And if we plan well, it's so possible to give our children wonderful, nutritious, non-contaminated and organic foods. Yeah.
I agree. Like, just go back to basic and
Yeah.
take a little time, but it's for your baby, for your kids.
Yeah, it's a good investment of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're just gonna talk a little bit about the baby sleep. How much time, or I don't know. Go ahead with the sleeping baby.
So, I mean, if you're talking about a newborn, you're expecting them to sleep anywhere between, let's say, 14, maybe 16 hours a day, right? And they'll get up, they'll wake up for their feeds, and after you've fed them and changed them, they'll go right back to sleep. By the time they're 2 months old, in theory, they're sleeping a good 4, 6, maybe 8 hours straight at night.
Mm-hmm.
In theory, they don't always read the manual, but in theory they can. And but why I say that is possible is because I think an important thing is to distinguish between by the time they're 2 months old, if they wake up, more than likely it's not for nutritional reasons. It's just because they're used to waking up at that time. I'm going to say in general. Obviously, every baby, there's a variety of, there's several variables, but I think it's definitely by the time they're 6 months old. If they're still waking up at 2 and 4 o'clock in the morning, just know that it's not. So again, 2 months, maybe still borderline, but by the time they're 6 months old, 8 months old, that it's more of a habit, not because they need to be fed, but it's because that's how they soothe themselves to sleep. So then knowing that gives you peace of mind of, okay, let me find a different way. Let me find ways to teach them to self-soothe. It may be, let's say by the time they're 9 months old, there can be a sippy cup with just plain old water that you teach them to grab, right? Because by that time, developmentally, they're able to grab and, feed themselves. And so instead of you picking them up and then, walking up and down with them or automatically breastfeeding, you can start transitioning them to self-soothing by the time they're, 6, 7, 8, 9 months old.
Okay.
I'm speaking in very broad strokes, right? But it's nice to know, at least to know that developmentally, I'm not depriving them of any nutrition if I try to switch them over to something that's not necessarily breastfeeding. Now, I have to say, every family is different because some families co-sleep, and the easiest thing in the world for the whole family is, baby's right there, put them on the breast, we're good, everybody goes to sleep, and that may work for that family. There are other families where, mommy's working full time or just physiologically, mommy needs her REM sleep, her 8 hours straight, she just like that physiology.
Yes.
And so those are the families who you don't have to feel guilty because they know, okay, if my baby at 6, 7, 8, 9 months is waking up, it's not because they need food, it's just because they've learned to soothe themselves. And so let me find a different way to help them put themselves to sleep, right? From sippy cup to maybe it might be just a little pat on the back without you picking them up, a little pat on and then soothe them with your voice, with you patting them a little bit on the back. And and that may be all that's needed. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm not an expert for the sleeping part, but what I see often is I think they sleep too much at day. Do you have any, or
What's that?
I think sometimes the babies sleep too much in the daytime.
Ah, yes, newborns, right? They don't read their watches, and yes, they don't read. And so that can happen, yeah, especially if mommy was maybe a night owl, during the pregnancy. Of course, the baby then gets used to that. Yes, totally. I
So
think
should we wake them up, or when
so.
they're
What I
little?
usually encourage mommies to do, I usually encourage the parents to do is, yes, try to set a routine. So let's say every 2-3 hours, if it's a breastfed baby,
Mhm.
formula fed maybe every 3 to 4 hours during the day, automatically, wake them up and try to feed them. Because then if you do that during the day, then there's a higher chance eventually that they will then do their longer sleeping at night. So keep a certain routine during the day let's say again, breastfed babies 2 hours, formula fed maybe every 4 hours during the day.
Mhm.
Hopefully if you do that, then eventually they will do their longer sleeping later in the evening. Okay.
Okay, cool. And now we're going to the the last question, because we're doing the time change this weekend.
Oh, is it this weekend? Okay.
Yeah. So I'm
Okay.
like, oh my God, like these parents, they're working so much on the routine, and now everything is changing. Um,
Yes, yes.
I guess I would, I don't know, tell them to sleep a little bit more, I guess, before all this change, or
So wait, so we're in the spring, so spring forward.
so we're gonna go one. We're gonna lose an hour.
We're gonna lose an hour.
Yeah.
I would say stick stick to stick to the time that works for your family. So let's say, so spring forward, even though let's say if you're used to everybody going to sleep at 11, but spring forward means it's midnight. No, shoot for the new 11, right?
Mhm.
Knowing that it won't be perfect for about a week or so, but if
Okay.
you're consistent, that this is what babies do really well with consistency. If you're consistent,
They put
then
the time.
eventually they will, start falling into the new schedule.
Okay.
Yeah. So consistency is key.
Okay. That's a great idea, because I was like, maybe they should sleep more to get ready, but then yeah, make no sense. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's like the same idea as when people are trying to avoid jet lag. If you're going to a country where
Yes.
the time is different from what you're used to, you need to, as soon as you sit on that plane, you adapt. Like right away, you're thinking you're already over there, and you set yourself to have the meal that they're having over there,
Mhm.
the sleeping over there, and your body quickly adjusts.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm gonna
I
put.
learned that from my business friends, huh?
It's really good because I travel a lot, but
Ah, okay, yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
I have this here. I'm gonna put your information right here. It's supposed to go. Oh, right there. So this is gonna be so that your phone, your website, so they can reach you if they have any question. They can call your office. Do you have anything you wanted to finish with, or that we forgot?
Um,
I know there's a lot to cover. We just did a little bit, but
yeah. I'm thinking, I mean, specifically your audience are parents to be or new parents, right? Yeah.
mhm.
I always put in a pitch for mommies taking good care of themselves. So, meaning, so because my thought is if mommies are doing well, then I know the babies are going to do well. So what I mean by that is, for the new mommies, please, please, please set up something that reminds you to drink water regularly, to have your snacks or meals regularly. Yeah, because sometimes we're so focused on the babies, and rightly so, but then we forget ourselves, and
Yes.
we're so exhausted, our milk production goes down. So invest some on yourself, so that then you'll have that much more, to give to your baby. So with hydration, nutrition, and I have to say, I often tell my mommies to treat themselves to a little tune-up, a good massage,
Mm-hmm.
and,
Yes.
and acupuncture to bring balance back to your body, right? Because your body's been focused on the baby for 9 months.
Yes.
Then
And
after you have your
well,
baby, your hormones are doing all of this,
yes.
right? Because it's adjusting to not being pregnant, right?
Yes.
And so something about taking good care of yourself, so that you, again, hydration, nutrition, a good massage therapy after having the baby, and acupuncture to bring balance. Because remember, you're also, not only is your body adjusting to this new phase of not being pregnant, but you're losing a lot of REM sleep, that deep sleep, right? Because you're waking up constantly to breastfeed, to feed, right? So that's a stress on your body. So I think it's good to be proactive. Be proactive in the self-care.
Yes.
And I think it's also a good thing for the daddies. Sorry, I've been focusing on the moms, but for the daddies who are listening, thank you for all you do. Thank you for all your support, and just know that the emotions get intense, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
hormone stuff, and so I
Yeah.
think if daddies know that, if they expect, okay, mommies are going to cry more, they're going to get a little bit more upset.
Yes.
Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. And 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 then for the mommies, so if you take good care of yourself, with, again, nutrition, massage, acupuncture, then all of that will bring balance. So also that's a good investment in relationship with dad, right? Because everybody's going through a transition. So I like to focus on like the whole family dynamic. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And with all that, I thought about, I was talking to a lady today, a mom, and she was telling me about, she was not sure about the baby, and I was telling her to follow her intuition, because often as a mom or dad, like, we kind of feel what's going on with the baby.
Mm.
But then in another way, what would be if they think something's happening to the baby, when they should call for help? Because I guess maybe with a fever, or what you would recommend, because I'm pretty in tune, but I guess for some parents, they would need a little bit more if they think something's happening for the baby or
Sure.
kid.
I mean, it depends what it is. If it's a breastfeeding issue, I would say make sure you're like connected with a wonderful lactation consultant, right?
Yes.
They've been there, done that, have all the tips and tricks, and so stay connected. Don't give up. There's nothing that you're not going through that some breastfeeding specialist won't have some solution for. So be patient, reach out, get yourself that support. And as far as, so of course, there are going to be other questions that, yes, so with the pediatrician
Mm-hmm.
in our office, we have, you can call and, through the portal, you could put in questions that are not urgent, questions that are urgent. You can always call if it's during the day. They'll put in a patient case, and then we'll call you back, sometime during the day. If
Awesome.
it's hours. something that, again, urgent, not one of the questions that can wait to the next business day, but something that's urgent.
Yes.
We do after hours. So, and the calls go directly to me. But it is just little old me, so parents know they're very considerate and know that it's for those things that, well, they don't know. Do I wait? Do I go to the emergency room? Do I go to urgent care? So they know they can call if they're not sure which way to go. They know they can call the after hours, and I'll walk them through that.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All the parents, I really recommend Dr. Cologne. I was like, when my son turned 18, like I was like, no, I want him to stay with Dr. Cologne. I don't want to go see nobody else. But yeah, I guess when you grown up, you have to go to another doctor.
Move on.
Yeah. But I really love your practice.
Nice being connected with you, Marie-José. Thank you.
Okay, have a great night, and thank you so much we are able to see on the camera, so thank you.
I'm glad it worked out. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, I was so happy because we had emergency. We were trying to do it maybe just the audio, but finally we were able to have her on. I love her so much, so I'm really happy that it worked out. For the viewer, if you think other mom or soon-to-be mom that that would like to, this information is awesome. So you can share on the Facebook Live. It's going to be there so you can go back to later. Also, if you have any question, you can just share it on the comment. I do that show every month. The next show is going to be about breastfeeding. It's going to be on April 8th at 8, so it's easy to remember, April 8th at 8. And it's exciting because Dr. Colon was just mentioning about having the expert for breastfeeding, and that's the person I'm going to have next month. Her name is Esther Strenghten. She's the owner of Mother's Choice Childbirth Breastfeeding Services, and she's a registered nurse. She's had over 27 years of experience in breastfeeding. So get more expert coming. I'm so excited. Any question, let me know. Remember, be yourself because everyone else is already taken. Thank you so much for being with us, and I will see you next month. Ciao, ciao.